Hello, everybody. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, depending from wherever, whenever you're joining us in this amazing Diary of Hackers session. This is Diary of Hackers, and this is our series called the Cyber Security Career talk series, and we've had amazing sessions over the past few weeks. Yes, the first person we had was Mr. Okpe Onifade of Afenoid Enterprise Nigeria Limited, where he gave us the importance of having or building your competencies. The other person we had was the digital security manager from CC Hub in person of Anthony Sule, where he dissected some alternative roles in cybersecurity that you would have never imagined existed. Yes, and then today we are so privileged to have the Director of Social Media and Communication of the Cybersecurity Expert Association of Nigeria in person of Samaila Bako. I am truly honored and I'm very, very glad to see every one of us here joining this amazing conversation. Yes. And so, before we get started, I would love you to um, use the chat box. Yes. And then tell us where you're joining us from. I am joining from Mina, Nigeria. What about you? Let me hear and see where we are joining from. So while we do that, I would love to welcome our special guest in person of Samaila Atsen Bako, who is the digital director of communications and social media of the Cybersecurity Experts Association of Nigeria. He's a cybersecurity trainer, and he has several industry certifications. Yes. So he's definitely passionate about cybersecurity awareness and teaches forensics, project management, and leadership. He's very interested in how the internet and recent technologies, which are IoT, cloud, and artificial intelligence, how they affect the connectivity of systems, the safety, and the size of data. We are so privileged to have you on our midst today, sir. Wow, we have an amazing wow. Wow. We have cyber girls that are joining us from Kaduna, from London, United Kingdom, from Calabar, Nigeria. Thank you so very much for joining, guys. I promise that this will be an insightful conversation. Yeah. So you'll be taking us on leveraging social media for opportunity. So a lot of social media network exists, and how do we capitalize on this to seek for opportunities? How to utilize and maximize the social media platforms. So I'm gonna hand over to our special guest. So he will take us on the ride. You're welcome, sir.
Hi everyone. Thanks for having me on the event. Could you give me access to share my screen so that I can do that while I'm.
Okay. Yeah, you have that.
All right. I believe you guys can see my screen now.
Yes, you can.
All right. So yeah. So thanks for having me on this event. The webinar series on cybersecurity career. I believe it's very timely because in our country we have a lot of people who are either starting or aspiring to start a career in cybersecurity, or those that are already gotten in, but they are not still sure where they're to be placed. So I applaud the organizers of the series. I've seen some of the previous sessions before mine, and I know that they based on the speakers that were there, I'm sure those ones were also enlightening. I'm hoping that I can follow suit and give you guys something worth your while. So thanks for having me. Well, you already know the topic I'll be speaking on, leveraging social media opportunities, social media for opportunities. I would limit my scope to 1 or 2 social media platforms. But before we get there, just a brief on myself. The host already did some introductions, so I wouldn't spend much time in it, but it's just good to have like an intro. All right, so like you rightly said, I do cybersecurity awareness trainings, and I try to advocate for things in the industry like best practices and stuff like that, necessary laws and policies in the industry. I'm a director of social media and communications at the Cybersecurity Association of Nigeria. Currently a student, like many of you, I noticed some familiar names there, so I know that there are students here. So I'm also a student myself. Yeah, I'm curious about things like product management, particularly exploring how product management can tie into security, so like the room for project security or project security management and things like that. Lastly, I'm a lover of sports, especially football. Yeah, so that's pretty much about me. So, this covering my stuff. All right, so I'm sure if I ask you guys to say how many of you use social media, pretty much everyone here does. And some people even have up to 8, 10 plus accounts. I personally use about 4. Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and I use them for different purposes. And the thing is, what social media as a whole, or what a platform is to you, is different. It's something else to another person. So, for instance, for me, Instagram is for like close friends and family. So it's private, it's locked. I don't accept. I actually take time to go through profiles before I accept. And if you're not a close friend or something, I might not give you access. That's how I treat my Instagram. Twitter, on the other hand, is where anyone can follow me. I can reply anybody. I can DM anybody. It's for everything. LinkedIn is also for everybody, but I usually kind of filter to prefer that it's for people that are of like mind, in terms of people that are looking to improve themselves in their industry or in their careers, people that are doing this professionally. Facebook, I don't use it for my personal account, so I wouldn't talk about that. But my point is that everybody has what they use different platforms for. And on every platform that's been created, there are different things you could do. There are different people you can engage with. There are different things you could leverage. And so we'll be trying to go into some of those things during this session. So if someone is a recruiter, when they go on social media to look at your platform, they'll be looking at what kind of things do you resonate with? What kind of tweets are you retweeting? What kind of things do you say? How do you respond to people? So they try to gauge your behavior, your thoughts, your values. And if someone is a friend, they'll see social media as a way to keep in touch with you or to get updates on your life. So I'm sure we have maybe classmates from high school, or no, it's high school here, from maybe primary school now, that you've not really spoken to, but you know what's happening in their lives because of social media. So that's one way that people see social media as a way to keep in touch or get updates. And to someone that is a social engineer, it's like a gold mine, because we freely give out information about ourselves there, and anyone looking to do some reconnaissance or to gather information knows that social media is one of the best places to get information on people. And so at this point, I ask, what is social media to you? Because, and it's an important point, because this informs how you use it. Right? Like I gave examples on how I use my Twitter. It's not the same way I use my LinkedIn, and it's not the same way I use my Instagram. And it boils down to what social media is to you, or what that platform is to you. So we should ask ourselves this question, because we need the answer in a few slides. And I'm pretty sure we
3, 2, 4, this thing 2 or 0. 3, 2, 4, 2.
Admin, can you help me please?
9420. 9420.
All right, thank you. These things happen. Anyways, yeah, so we pretty much know why social media was created. Some people believe it was to aid communication, or some claim that. Some people also claim it was to build friendships or to maintain relationships that are already existing. Others do it to make money. Either the platform itself generates wealth, or there's a feature in the platform that allows people to generate wealth. For instance, we have content creators today who use TikTok, Instagram, and a lot of platforms to make money, to gain income. All right, so there are different reasons. There are probably more. I don't know if does someone want to just type in the chat box any other reason they think social media was created? Let me see if anyone. Any reason that I've not captured anyways. I was thinking about it. I didn't want to. I tried to not use too many online resources for this, because I tried to make it as personal as possible. Anyways, while you guys are thinking, that's if anyone is trying to write. So, okay, someone said to network. Okay, someone said entertainment. True. To learn, develop as professionals, to reach a large audience. So yes, majority of answers are similar to building relationships and friendships. But someone mentioned advertisement, another person mentioned entertainment. Those are very true. Someone said to build brand. Yes, and that's partly what we're talking about today. So thanks for your answers. Education as well. Yeah, that's part of learning as well. So thanks a lot. I appreciate the responses. And so yeah, and that takes us to our next point. Regardless of why these platforms were created, there are opportunities that exist in them. So there are job opportunities, whether it's full-time, part-time, internship, volunteering. There are things you can apply for, like fellowships, scholarships, discounts, or the popular giveaway that we're always doing. You can even apply to be a brand ambassador or to represent a company. Right, so these are some of things that you come across by virtue of being on social media, and the reason is because it gives you access to a wide range of people from different locations around the world. In our parents' time, I can imagine how boring life could have been. I mean, in terms of interactions, because you can only interact with people that are around you or are within your geographic location. For many of us here, we probably know people. Probably have friends. Maybe someone has been your friend for like 5 years and you've never met the person once. The people you met on Twitter, right? And you've never met them and stuff like that. And that's normal in our time. It's not unusual. So yeah, so this the era of social media and the era of the internet has given us access to a wide range of people and a wide range of opportunities. Okay. So, and in the process of taking advantage of these opportunities, you have to interact, you have to join platforms, you have to make comments, make posts. And someone earlier mentioned that one of the reasons social media was created, or one way it can be used, let me rephrase it, is to build our brands. And so in the process of doing these interactions, you are giving people a perception of you, you're giving them a feel of you, if I may put it that way. And so to avoid giving yourself a negative image or making people have negative perceptions about you, there are things you shouldn't do on social media, and that's what this slide is on. A lot of people see trolling as something that is fun, something you do and laugh about, and a lot of times I use the word trolling because there's a difference between being a troll and being a clown. So you might be cracking jokes and it's funny, everyone is laughing. But there are times it gets to the point that the person you are targeting isn't actually, the person you are talking to isn't laughing. So, if it's a joke, the person has to laugh with you. But when you are the only one laughing, that means you're laughing at the person. So that's when it becomes true, and that is when it's not helpful to anyone. There are discussions and topics that really we shouldn't be getting involved with or involved in, especially we that are here for in cybersecurity, because a lot of things in our industry has to do with your image and trust. So you do not want people having a certain perception of you that may not really help your career or help your person. So this is one of the things, try to avoid trolling people. It's okay to crack jokes, okay to laugh about things, but make sure you're not making other people uncomfortable or making other people feel sad or bad. There's also the issue of unhealthy competition. Competition is good. There are people that always complain that, oh, when they go on LinkedIn, they will see an 18-year-old girl that has masters and PhD and has founded 2 startups, and she has done this one and that one, that kind of thing. And people will say, oh, a lot of people are lying on LinkedIn to make themselves look good, that kind of thing. The downside is that some people see profiles of people, whether the profiles are real or not, it's not really my business. But some people see those profiles and they feel inadequate. They feel as if they are nothing or they are not doing enough. They just put undue pressure on themselves and they look down on themselves simply because of someone's profile or because of what you've seen someone achieve. Forgetting that life is beyond just that single achievement. You do not know, someone claiming to have a startup, for instance, you do not know if, for instance, his dad is a billionaire and just give him money to start a company. You do not know, you don't know the full story, and that's the point I'm making. You don't know the full story, so you cannot just look at one thing in someone's life and use that to judge yourself and to now put yourself down. Because I mean, if you're putting yourself down, it's difficult and it's worse than when other people are trying to put you down. So you need to be wary of unhealthy competition. Spamming is good to interact with people, it's good to try and know people, but don't just keep sending people messages time and time again. It's why people that are into advertisement and marketing and stuff like that, they can be very annoying sometimes. Yeah, don't stop people. Your ex, let the ex stay in let the ex be the ex, leave the ex in the past and move on. Right? Don't stop people and be policing their lives. Move on and live your own life. That kind of thing. I'm using that particular example because I know a lot of people do that. So, yeah. There's a comment in the chat box, but I'll leave it towards the end. Let me not, so that it doesn't break my presentation. Yeah, and there are some people that they are known anytime they see fight on Twitter or there's any viral argument, they are always either the person starting it or on the receiving end or is their friend. The people that are always, people that are always in those circles, right? Always being the ones throwing insults or fighting. If Nepal has done their work. Anyways, if this is the case with you, again, it doesn't speak well of you, it doesn't give you a good image. And like I said, our industry relies a lot on things like trust and people's image because I mean security, right? So you do not want to be in those insensitive you don't want to be in those kind of insensitive discussions or controversial arguments. Try as much as possible not to talk about things you are not well versed on. If you don't have proper knowledge on something, don't make too much noise about it. I mean, I drop 1 or 2 cents, but don't go and be making thread and trying to comment everywhere about the thing because eventually your points will be clear that you do not know what you're talking about, which doesn't really help anyone at the end of the day. You do not want to sound arrogant or dismissive, so you have to watch your tone when you're communicating with people. You know, the way text is read is different from how it is perceived when you speak to someone. They can hear your voice and hear your tone. So a lot of times you can send something as a text and it comes off as dismissive or arrogant or rude, even though that's not your intention. So we need to be careful about that. Sending long requests or messages, especially when you're trying to reach out to people that, in quote, are above you, maybe people that you're looking up to. A lot of people are busy. A lot of people do not even come on social media as regularly as you do. So they will probably be discouraged. They might not want to go through your message because it's too long. So try to keep it short and simple, go straight to the point. It's just a tip. And same when you're talking to people, also be careful of the area of slangs, shorthand, and all these abbreviations, because not everyone knows what it is. Even me said that I believe I'm fairly young. I Google when I see some abbreviation on Twitter, I'll still go and Google the thing. Like, what does this one mean? So you can imagine people that are ahead of us in the industry. You might just feel as if this person is not serious, even though those things shouldn't be looked down on. But I mean, that's the world we're in. And try to not have an anonymous or inactive account. Two reasons: anonymous accounts, people won't trust it, and a lot of fraud is committed these days using anonymous accounts. People will be skeptical to interact with you or to even connect with you in the first place. So, and we'll talk about the things that can make your account look anonymous in a few slides too. Yeah, in case I forget, just remind me. And inactive accounts, they're not good to have because if someone should hijack it, you wouldn't even be aware because you've not been using the account. And that account can be used for other things. So let's not contribute to identity theft and issues in our industry. Yeah, I hope I'm flowing so far. I know I'm saying things that majority of things I'm saying are what we know, but I hope I'm sure communicating. And so we've talked about the things we should avoid. How should we use it, right? I remember someone mentioned social media can be used to build your brand. And yes, that's one of the things we're talking about. And in trying to advance your career and trying to grow and trying to leverage the opportunities on social media, you need to introduce yourself to the world. We have social media as a free platform. Social media, you don't pay to access. The thing you pay for maybe your device and the internet subscription, right? And you have access to a global market, a global village. And so for people to know who you are, for you to introduce yourself, you need to know what you can do. Are there skills you have? Are there projects you've done? Maybe you're the project manager or you're even a team member on projects. What did you handle the projects? How did you do it? This allows you to put yourself within the sites or in the sites of people that may be interested in your skills or people who may have similar projects to do. And they say, oh, this guy has done this thing. Maybe I can check, I can try him out and I'll contract him to do this job for me, that kind of thing. Right. Another thing is the use of a portfolio. There are people that are initially developers and graphics designers, photographers. They usually try to have a website where you can go and see everything about their career, everything about their projects, what they've done, what they are even planning to do, who they've collaborated with, and stuff like that. It's a very important thing to have. Some people also use their social media as their portfolio. Again, photographers do that. People that bake, people that cook, graphics designers. So you can use social media as your portfolio as well. So these are things to consider. So the aim is to showcase your skills and projects and stuff you've done so that people know what you can do, what you potentially do. Another thing you'd like to do, or you should be doing on social media, is building your network. You need to connect with like minds and also people that are in different industries. So a lot of people, they just focus their social media on only cyber people. They only want to be seeing cybersecurity on their timeline. It's not everyday work. Sometimes little entertainment, little enjoyment. So even as you're making connections, as you're building your network, don't just focus on only cyber people. For instance, the work environment. Some of the most important people to have in your corner are HR people. So as you're connecting people, try to connect to HR people as well, because if there are opportunities, they are most likely the first people to know that an opportunity is going to open up the organization. And if they are familiar with you, they might say, instead of advertising this thing, let me even find out this guy is available for this role. They might reach out to you. So referrals happen more easily if you have people like that. Another group of people to have on your profile that would be good on your network are CEOs or founders. CEOs are decision makers. It's always good to have them either for contract basis or for full-time roles. Founders, on the other hand, they're always hiring, especially the ones that are getting new funding. They're looking to grow the company and expand their teams. So if you have them in your network, you probably get to find out more about job opportunities that they might announce. But like I said, the aim is to build your network. You need to meet people in other industries, people in other job titles, so that it also gives you insight into how things work from the other angle. So if you're just with cyber people, you're always thinking about things, maybe it's even from just the technical side. It's going to interact with the finance guys to know the money side of things, the business side of things, interact with the CEOs to understand decision making. You need to build knowledge across different verticals. And one way is to interact with them or to have them in your network. Yeah, I've spoken about building your brand. I've spoken about people's perception of you, about your image, about the values they see or they believe that you have. These are things that we should be making sure people know, because you don't want a misconception. And you can use it to practice. You can use social media to practice things. You can practice content creation. Just your small tweets to practice how to craft a small tweet that gains people's attention. If you're a graphic designer, I can practice what kind of graphics do I do that makes people want to maybe retweet or reply my post, or to even, you can check the analytics, know how many people view the tweet. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah, so that's another thing you can do. If you're a graphic designer, you can use your page to check out what gets people's attention. You can practice account management. You can just, if maybe your friend has an NGO or your friend cooks food, you can say, okay, let me create Twitter handle for your Instagram handle where you can be posting your pictures of your food. Maybe you get a wider market. And by doing that, you learn how to maybe design the page outline on Instagram. You learn what kind of captions are catchy. You also learn how to interact with people that are sending DMs. So by doing that, you're practicing different things. You're learning different skills just by helping someone out, right? And like I said, these things are free. And eventually, you end up learning marketing skills as well. You learn how to talk to people's skills. Some people, like for me, I've done a bit of all these things that I've mentioned. That's why I will give this example. And you start using your accounts and you give it a try on someone's accounts. You never know how easy it might come to you. I don't think I ever did any social media course or training, but I just realized that from day one, all these things just came easy to me. It was not difficult to understand how the different platforms work and to understand how marketing on each platform is done. Even though I know they change the algorithms from time to time, I just realized that I always understood those things. So you might give it a try and see that, it's useful. And I know that it's not a cyber skill, but if you're going to do things in cybersecurity, you might as well have social media skills because it enables you to expand your reach. So these are skills that will be useful to anyone, anywhere. So these are some of the things social media can be used for. These are some of the ways I believe social media should be used. There are definitely other ways, but these are some that come to mind for me. So I decided that we'll have a little, like I said I was going to focus on 2 social media, right? One of them is LinkedIn. So we'll be looking at ways to improve our brand, right? And it's not something that you just do once and forget about it. It's something that you keep monitoring, you make changes, you monitor again, make changes. So it's a continuous process that never ends. But don't worry, it's not tedious. And 2 things you want to ask yourself is that, what do you want to be found for? So when people look for your name, when people Google your name, what kind of things do they want your name to be associated with? If people are looking, is it when they are looking for a software developer in Lagos that your name will pop up? Or when they are looking for the 3 boys that fought over a girl at a party or some funny thing, and then there's a video of you there or a picture of you getting punched or punching someone, this kind of thing. So these are kind of what we want to ask ourselves, right? If you're talking about LinkedIn in particular, this question will be towards the kind of job roles you want your name, job searches rather. Because when recruiters and CEOs go on LinkedIn, they can search for people, and based on what's in your profile, LinkedIn will arrange the names. So what kind of lists, what kind of search results do you want your name to pop up in? That's one question. Second question is, how do you want to be remembered? So when people look at your profile and they close down the web page, if your name comes up tomorrow, what comes to mind? What's in your profile that resonate with them, that will stay on their minds. Those are some things we're looking at. I've put 2 links here. So when you get the slides, you can come and look at the links to learn more. So, and I use LinkedIn because I want to assume that everybody here has a LinkedIn account. I was going to say that this should be checked ahead of time, but I just want to assume that in this age we're in and in our industry, everybody has a LinkedIn account. And if you don't have one, this is a cue for you to create one today. So like I said, we'll have a little activity. You can, I won't go through everything. You can do the rest of your free time. I'll just go over some. I mentioned the issue of having an anonymous account and why many people, especially people in our industry who are cautious and secretive, very skeptical, will not want to connect with an anonymous account. If your account doesn't have, if your name, first of all, your name, if it's not complete, for instance, my name is Samaila Atsen, but if I just write S.B or something like that, it's only people that know that that's my page that will either interact with me or connect with me in the first place. I don't know why people don't like putting their full names, but to each his one. I always suggest that use your full name. Another thing about your profile, you need to have a picture, profile picture. And profile picture should be, people recommend that you look smart and everything. I personally just believe that the picture should be sharp. It should be clear, HD picture. You might go the extra mile of trying to have a white background so that your face shows well and stuff like that. That's fine. But for me, the main thing is that it should be about your face. You're not trying to show your body or your dress or your fine suit or things like that. Nah. Just about people being able to recognize you. People that can know that, okay, this person is a real person, that kind of thing. So the profile picture should be clear. Some people go as far as cover photo. I think it can be relevant for certain industries. If I keep talking about graphics design, but if you're into anything graphics, you should be able to customize your cover photo and make you look fine. Let people know this is even your hard work, and these are the kind of things you can do. It's a way of advertising yourself. So yeah, your profile being complete also has to do with things like your career. Have you put the school you're in or the school you went to? Have you talked about jobs you've done, even if it's internships or short contracts? Have you put all those things? Are there volunteering gigs you've done? Right? Are those things there? Are there skills you have? You need to show your skills. At least you should be able to show 5 to 10 skills, either soft skills and technical skills as well. Yeah, so the idea of complete profile is that you filled up everything in every area. And based on the LinkedIn algorithm and the way it functions, your account is going to be found more, right? When you filled up all the information they're asking for, or as much as possible. In fact, at some point, you will see like a bar that tells you you've gotten to 80% of your profile. If you add this new information, your account will get to 90%, and then you will stand a 23% chance of getting viewed by more people. So they even try to tell you all those things to encourage you to complete profile. And again, like I said, if you're leveraging opportunities on social media or on LinkedIn in particular, you want people to know about you and what you can do. So there's no harm in sharing information about stuff like that. Another useful thing is profile URL. It makes it easy for people to find you. I usually suggest that you could make it the same, like the ends. Like for instance, mine has my middle name and my last name, Atsen Bako. I suggest that people use something like the same with their social media handle. So if my Twitter handle, for instance, is Atsen Bako, you could use Atsen Bako as the LinkedIn, just to have uniformity, like you would do with any company or brand. You can do the same with yourself. It just enables people to remember you easily and they can find you easily as well. Yeah, headline is important. In your headline, you want to capture what you're currently doing, if it's a job, or the kind of roles. If you're looking for a job, you can put the kind of roles you're open to. Can be a security analyst, information security officer, what kind of thing. Put it there. It shows what kinds of opportunities you're looking for, you're open to. Your summary will talk about you as a person, career-wise, what intrigues you, what are you passionate about, what are you doing, what do you hope to do. Beyond anything on LinkedIn, you need to try and connect with people. And don't just, like I said, don't just connect with anybody. Make sure you're looking for quality connections. Connect with people and interact with them. By interaction, I don't mean DM every time you DM. No, comment on their posts. So, for instance, someone talks about cybersecurity awareness. Read the post. If you feel there's something they left out, you can add the comments and say, "Oh, this is also a useful point," and you add your point. Even if you don't agree, you can say, "Oh, I believe this would make more sense if it's done this way, or this is a better way to do it. What do you think?" So don't try to come and say what you wrote is rubbish, or what you said is wrong. No, you're coming from the angle of, have you considered doing it this way, or do you think this method is give you the better results? So you're trying to offer like a dialogue, you're trying to discuss with the person. So that's how you interact with people. Try to like people's posts to give them visibility, because everyone knows visibility on social media. So it helps to do it for others as well. It doesn't take anything out of you anyways. And don't be ashamed or shy of asking for recommendations or endorsements. You want, like, again, the aim on it in particular is for people to know about you and what you can do. One thing that gives people confidence is when they see recommendation, especially if it's from someone, endorsement, especially for someone that is respected or is known or has probably worked for them. They will believe, they are more likely to believe in your profile or believe in what you can do if they've seen someone that they trust endorse you. Several other things you can do. Try to have important keywords on your page and stuff like that. Don't just go and be putting celebrate, incident response, and just put things anywhere on your page. No, try to do it with some sense, if I use it, I put it that way. So, so regarding this, so I just put out all these things as a guide in your own time, and I put one or two examples in your own time. Go over your profile and see if you've done some of these things. Again, it will help you. Things like your headline and summary shouldn't be long, 2-3 lines. Everything should just be straight to the point. Yeah, so that's pretty much for the LinkedIn aspect. Another thing is Google. I usually tell people that once in a while it's good to just go over your devices. For instance, like my gallery. Every week I just go over it and delete pictures I don't need. Maybe I said it in the moment thinking I'll delete it, or someone sent it to me and I accidentally download on WhatsApp. After like a week, I'll just go through and just delete all the things I don't need. So beyond our phones, beyond our gallery, we should be doing it even on social media. For instance, now maybe you retweet something and you find out that the thing is not entirely true or it's not completely false. Go back. If you replied, delete the reply so that you're not spreading falsehood. Remove the retweet or whatever it's called, or the like. And things like that, just so that you are reducing the attention it gets and things like that. So just try to make sure you're not within things that are not positive. And like I said, like I put on the slides, internet never forgets, but it's still helpful to do those things. Mind what you share. Sometimes we share things that come back to hurt us in the future or to harm us. So let's be careful what we're sharing. Talked about being easy to find, right? Do you have similar handles across platforms? For instance, if you have a YouTube page and someone is on a YouTube page and they see your name, if they're trying to locate you also, they'll probably search using that YouTube name. So if you're using different, I'm not understanding. Someone say, can the slide be on the main screen? Is that not the case?
I think that's the case, but maybe his own settings.
Okay. Just wanted to confirm. Yeah, I think you can toggle what you can pin on your Zoom. So just look around and use the 3 dots there and try to see if you can move it or things like that. Yeah, so like I was saying, are you easy to find? Do you have similar usernames across platforms and stuff like that? Because when someone searches for you on Google, what do you see? I don't know how many of you do this, but from time to time, I just go and Google my name. I think I did it when I was making these slides last. Saw some funny results whatsoever. Yeah, filter what you consume. While you're connecting people on social media, over time, you might realize that some people are not really bringing good things to your timeline. So people are the ones always bringing fights or bringing insults or bringing maybe pornography, and you don't like those kind of things. So they're always posting gory images, maybe blood and stuff. I don't want all those things to your timeline. Filter out. You can unfollow people. If you don't want to unfollow them, maybe there are people you know and you feel like they'll be offended. you can mute them, right? If people that are abusive and are rude and bullies, you can just block those ones. Once around, you can filter the words as well and things like that. So social media has given us those features. So try to do my version of spring cleaning. Filter what you consume, because over time it's what you consume that you regurgitate, right? So you don't want to be giving out gooey things. Yeah, so we've talked about, or I've talked about rather, social media, what to do, what not to do, and how to take advantage of opportunities. I think something that is very important is the fact that your social media page is a window into your life. It tells it tells people a lot of things about you, and so it's just like how, okay, anyways, it tells you a lot of things about you. So you need to be careful. You need to be mindful of what kind of image you are portraying, right? And always tell people that it's not always about what you can get. So some people are only there because of things like giveaway or because of job opportunities. But a lot of people don't think of how they can give back. A lot of people will say, I'm just in university now. I'm just in this. I don't have money. But there are a lot of things you can do with social media. You can start an awareness campaign, for instance. You can target kids in secondary school and say, okay, these people don't have knowledge and they're all trying to get smartphones. How can we enlighten them? And you do that. It doesn't cost you anything to do it on social media. It could be a weekly post, it could be a monthly post, anything, but you're actually giving back somehow, right? So we should always be thinking of ways we can give back. If sometimes you're surprised, it's in process of giving back that you might come across an opportunity. A lot of people in the industry that are willing to help younger people grow, they will help people that they've seen already making effort, people that are already trying to do things for themselves and for others. They will not just come and help someone that is docile or dormant, doing nothing. So try to see how you can give back. Are there places you can volunteer, right? Are there people you could help? Maybe you could help people recover stolen online accounts. You can be offering a service. You never know. There might be a company that has a job like that. They said, oh, since you've been doing this thing for 2 years, you are fit for the role. Another thing is to know your worth. Sometimes we can, like I mentioned, the issue of people post bogus things on LinkedIn to look good and to boost their images. But that should not be our problem. The main thing is to know exactly where you are at every point in time, like what level you are at. Don't see yourself bigger than you are, and also don't look down on yourself. Don't, because you can end up developing good self-esteem and stuff. Don't undervalue yourself. It's a very important thing because it works in our heads, in my psychology. If you're looking down on yourself, when you go for a job interview and they're asking you what's your expected salary, you might start stammering. You might go and call one figure that is probably half of what they are paying, or they were paying the person that just left, right? Because you do not believe that you are worth that money. And so it's always good to have a positive perception of yourself. Do not go and overvalue and get to the point of being arrogant or feeling pompous or being proud. You need to balance things and check all those things. So that's pretty much my presentation. Oh, I always put this in all my presentations recently, putting this. So the conference in Vegas, you can join virtually and try to get them to drop the price, I think, to 10,000 for students or student member. I can't remember which one, but it's on the website. Just check it out and see. Thank you very much. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I pretty much check LinkedIn every day. So if you connect with me, I'll probably connect back and I'll respond to your messages. Thank you for having me, and I hope this will be beneficial.
Sir, thank you so very much, sir, for this great and wonderful presentation. I mean, personally, I've learned a lot from it. Even thinking about the Google, how I need to clean up my own mess on the internet. And we've spoken a lot, even from my own personal safety to the fact that I don't need to look down on myself and all those things. Thank you so much for this. So, guys, if you have any questions, kindly put it up on the chat box so that we could ask him before he leaves. So I have a question, sir. Um, Let me just assume I'm just getting started and I just open up the LinkedIn account, right? So how do I
Sorry,
connect with them?
I can't really hear you. It's like you're.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. Can you hear me now?
It's better. I think that there's noise on my end. That's why there's no room from
Okay.
side. But just yeah,
Okay.
but it's better now.
All right, sir. So I just want to ask a quick question. Assuming I'm just getting started on LinkedIn, and or what do I say? Definitely, I will not have a lot of connections. So how do I connect with the industry experts? Assuming I don't really know much, or I don't really know the people that are
Yeah.
there in the industry.
What I advise, because the thing is that anyone you're trying to connect with will look at your profile. And one of the things they will look at is number of connections. Second thing they look at is your mutual connections, right? So typically, I tell people that you should always try to have that minimum of 500 connections on LinkedIn. And how do you do this? You start with people that you already know. Connect with people you've worked with in the past, maybe in an internship. Start with your classmates from school, people you went to school with, whether classmates or set mates or people even above you or below you. Just start connecting people in your school, because if you try connecting with me and I go to people and see that you went to the same university, even though I may not have known you, I might say, okay, alumni things now. I'll just follow you for that reason, right? I'll connect with you. So start with people you know. That's what I always tell you. Your schoolmates, people you have worked with. If you're a member of a community like Diary of Hackers, every single one of you should be connected to each other. That way, you probably get what 200, 300, 400 connections already on Twitter, on LinkedIn. And so by the time you do that first, when you now start approaching people that are less likely to connect with you, when they go through your profile looks standard. So they are like, okay, why not? Maybe by the virtue of connecting with those people, you might now have more mutual connections, which like me now, because of how my account has grown, I actually, I'm more likely to connect with you if we have 100 mutual connections and above, just because of how large my account is, right? But that's not what, a lot of people don't even have those standards, or some people have higher standards as well. But the main thing is that people that are advanced in the industry, they do not just connect with anyone. Some of them don't even open the platform every day to check. And so because of that, you need to make sure that your profile appeals to them, or they see what you're trying to achieve. They see that you're actually involved in the industry and not just a dummy account that is just created and things like that. So that's why I mentioned the use of good profile pictures and trying to update your account to show what you're achieving, what trainings you're doing and stuff like that.
All right, sir. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, sir. Then, guys, a quick one for those of us that are on LinkedIn or are just starting. Please kindly just put your name here so that we can connect with each other, right? So I'm gonna put in my LinkedIn URL here on the chat box so that you can connect with me anytime. You can also do the same thing and I'll follow you. At the end of the session, I'll collate all the link that was dropped and I'll make a post with it so that you get to connect with each other on this call.
Yeah, someone, Ibukun Emmanuel posted something when I was speaking. She said, I've recently started seeing a few African women exposing themselves on Twitter, whereas Twitter is meant to be professional networking site. We need to avoid posting operational content, operational content. Okay, so I personally don't advocate for us to police people, in quotes, police, right? So by way of advice, what I would say is the internet never forgets, right? We keep saying that thing, and it simply means that whatever I put on the internet today will still be on the internet in 200 years' time when you are dead and long gone. So what you are posting, does it really resonate well with your kids? If your kid becomes 15 years old tomorrow and they see that post of you on Twitter, or they see it somewhere, even if it's a screenshot, how would they feel? Would they be proud of you? Will it be embarrassing? By the time you become the CEO of MTN or of PwC, would you be proud to see that post of you on social media? So those are some of the things to consider. You have to look at the world from different angles. The world is changing, right? The way I saw the world when I was born is not the way some of you are seeing the world today, because things are changing, and they're changing very fast in this technology age. So you have to be careful to not get carried away with trends and things like that, so it do not hurt your future. And so, like I said, I don't advocate for policing what people do, but my advice is that think about how these things look tomorrow. Think about how people you care about would perceive it and how it will either hurt or mar their image or your image in the future and things like that. I think I saw another comment. Just trying to scroll and get it. Okay, so I talked about two social media. So yeah, I spoke about LinkedIn, and I briefly mentioned, I think, Twitter for sake of usage. But I think my main focus was actually on LinkedIn, to be honest. But yeah, Twitter is very useful for career as well. A lot of people post helpful material there, like a lot of useful material. So again, do your spring cleaning. Who are you connected with? Who are you following? Remove people that are posting jargons and put people that are useful, that will educate you and enlighten you and expose you to opportunities. A lot of DGs, CEOs, founders, HR managers, they're all on Twitter and they are posting, but you might not know that that's who they are. So do your research, find out people's accounts and stuff, and connect with those that are useful. That's my suggestion on that. Okay. I think that was all in the chat, so you can continue.
Thank you very much, sir. Again, if you have any inquiries, you can send a mail and it will be, you get a response. Then make sure you follow us on our social media platforms, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on any other social media platform we know at Diary of Hackers. You can check our website on diaryofhackers.com to get more information. We are a community of cybersecurity enthusiasts, so you can do well to join us. We have a functional WhatsApp group for the community members, so do well to join. Uh, okay, I'll just drop the link for you so you will join us. Just check on diaryworkers.com and get the link to join us. So thank you very much, Cyber Girls. I really appreciate your coming. I mean, the majority of the participants here are from Cybersecurity Foundation and Cyber Girls. Because to do what you're doing, and we hope to be the defenders of the galaxy very soon. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And this session will be recorded. It's recorded to be uploaded on our YouTube channel. Because we have amazing content for those that are just getting into the cybersecurity field. So do well to check on our YouTube channel to get more of this content. And we have many more that are coming. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a wonderful stay. Thank you so much, sir, for honoring our invitation. It's a privilege to have you on this show. We hope to have you again very soon, sir. Bye, everybody.